In episode 2, shortly after the Dream King arrives in hell, he realizes that something is not quite right. It is way too quiet. He was really expecting them to put up a fight. After all, he was warned as such. But when he goes to the gates of hell, it is literally open for him. He just walks right through, and still he sees nobody. Eventually, he does come across a very calm Lucifer. And he gets right to the point, asking where Nada is, where she's keeping her, where she's hiding her. But Lucifer just tells him, take off the helmet and we'll talk. Okay, I give you my word. While we're in the bowels of hell, I will do nothing to harm you. After taking off the helmet, he once again asks, where's Nada? And she says, I sent her away. I sent everybody away. I mean, the demons, Nada, you name it. If they were here, they're gone. And that's because, as she reveals to Dream, she's quit. She's over it. She's done this for 10,000 years, and she's just sick of it. So essentially, she is retiring. She reveals to him that it's all because of him. Because when she found out that he was coming, she figured, well, if Dream can leave his realm, I mean, why can't I? And he looks at her bewildered and says, you're hell's ruler. You have a responsibility. But not anymore. Marquine interrupts the conversation because she wants to go wherever Lucifer is going, but Lucifer tells her no. Wherever I'm going solo. And after taking her knife, she tells her to do the same. Leave. This leaves Dream and Lucifer once again to discuss the situation where Dream tries to convince Lucifer that she has a duty, and Lucifer is pretty clearly fed up with working and getting nothing in return. She announces that hell is closed, and then her and Dream step out so she can lock the last door. She does, however, need Morpheus to do one thing for her. Cut off her wings. Because as she tells him, I'm tired of fighting. Morpheus obliges, and now standing in front of him is no longer the morning star, it's just a person. A wingless angel. Lucifer stands up, she thanks Morpheus, but he once again asks, where is Nada? And as Lucifer is looking off in the distance, she tells him, she's out there somewhere. You'll find her. She then switches the subject to promises she made, one of them being that she would destroy Dream, the other being that she would do him no harm in the bowels of hell, but now they're outside of hell. And because of that, she can give him the key. Because now she is entrusting hell to Morpheus, and there's nothing he can do about it. The key is now in his possession, and he is now the ruler of hell. Lucifer then goes off, and Morpheus has to go back to his kingdom, where he is very, very annoyed upon arrival. The first thing he does is tell Lucienne what happened about being given the key to hell and what exactly they're going to do. The reason this is a problem is soon every deity is going to be at their door, armed, looking to get the key to hell so that they can rule it. And he knows this. He needs to figure out what exactly he's going to do with the key to hell and who to give it to. And the person he usually goes to for advice is his sister, Death. So that's the next person he talks to about the situation. And Death's already heard about the whole him getting the key to hell thing. That news spread pretty quickly. And her advice to him is that Nada is going to have to wait because hell is empty and everybody that was in hell is now in the waking world trying to turn the waking world into hell. So he's going to have to figure this thing out. The way she sees it, he's got two choices. Either he rules hell or he just gives it to somebody else. And the person he initially decides to give it to is Death. Because after all, she gives great advice. But Death goes, no, I can't do that. I have my own kingdom to worry about. I've got, Death to worry about. And even though Morpheus tries to say, hey, we'll split responsibilities, she's still not interested in it at all. She wishes him all the best, but this is going to be a decision he has to make. And it turns out Morpheus was right, because as soon as he's done talking to his sister, he finds out that all those deities are, in fact, at his door. They're pissed off. They want the key to hell. But instead of keeping them out, what he decides to do is invite them inside. He feels like they're less dangerous if they are guests in his kingdom. He can easily control them, and then he'll be able to figure out exactly who he wants to give the key to. And there are a lot of potential suitors. You've got Odin, Thor, and Loki, looking a little bit different than what we're accustomed to, I must say. They check in with Lucienne. Next, you've got Lord Kildekin's men. They're dressed up like concierges, and the head of them has a box that appears to be empty, when Lucien looks at it at least. But it's not. And the way they're treating it is as if Lord Kilderkin is with them. And maybe he is, because he gives Lucien a note. I mean, she looks in the box one minute, it's empty. The next minute she looks in, there's a card in there. And the note simply says that he also wants to discuss getting the key to hell. The next people to check in with Lucien is Shivering Jemmy of the Shallow Brigade. She dubs herself a Princess of Chaos, and she's dressed up like a clown. Think Pennywise, but little girl form. Next up, you've got a guy who's just flying solo. His name is Susano o no Mokito. He's the god of the sea and the storms, and he's the most polite. He apologizes for showing up uninterrupted, but he does in fact want to talk about getting the key to hell. While Susano was the most polite, Lord Azazel is the rudest. He's the Prince of Hell and the commander of what was Lucifer's army, and because of the fact that he is the Prince of Hell, he feels like he is the rightful heir to the throne, and he really should be ruling Hell, and the fact that he had to come all the way to the dream world, he's annoyed by it, clearly. Immediately, he demands to meet with Morpheus, and he even goes so far as to try and bully Lucien, using his powers to torment her and intimidate her. And it does work, but Morpheus steps out and he puts a stop to it right away. He announces to not just Lord Azazel, but everybody that they are going to have a great banquet, and he will decide who exactly is going to get the key to hell. Right before the banquet starts, though, a group arrives late. It's a guy named Chloricon and his sister, Lady Nuala. They were sent as ambassadors from the court of Fairy, and they seem a little bougie. They do, however, have an issue, and they're the first ones to really get an audience with Morpheus. They tell him that by ancient compact, Fairy must pay 9 of their citizens to hell every 7 years. Nuala tells him that she understands everybody in the banquet is jockeying to get the rights to hell. She's actually there to beg him to give none of it to them. And that's because it would be to the benefit of Fairy if hell were to remain empty. He tells them that he'll think about it, but he has to listen to everybody and listen to their pitch, and he instructs them to go and eat at the banquet. He then joins Lucien in the balcony to watch the people at the banquet. He feels like if he's there, they're going to be on their best behavior, but he'll be able to get an accurate reading of who these people are. But as he's looking down, Loki notices him from the balcony, and Loki gets the sense that Morpheus isn't too keen on him. And it's true, Morpheus views Loki as somebody that should be confined, not running a kingdom. He also doesn't plan on giving it to Lord Azazel or the demons. But then he has to go break up a fight because Thor started hitting on one of the demons. She didn't really take too kindly to it. She's kind of like a half spider woman. And right before the fight really got interesting, Dream headed down and basically told them, if you're fighting in here, you're essentially fighting me. I don't take kindly to it, so sit down and enjoy the banquet. They then, however, get 2 more guests, 2 angels, Remiel and Duma. Duma doesn't talk. He's the angel of silence. But they were sent by God because God wants to know exactly what Dream is going to do with the key to hell. So they're really there just to observe and report back. As Morpheus continues to ponder this dilemma that he has found himself in, Cain actually entertains the crowd with a bit of a magic show. That's when he gets his first bribe. It's from the Kilderkin Order. But it's not all that good. Essentially, it's the essence of Dream from the newly dead people. Kilderkin is going to give it to Dream in order to get the key to hell, but Dream says if I wanted this, I would have taken it myself. Like, really? This is your attempt? Get lost. The next person up, though, to bribe him is Jemmy. But she makes it clear. I'm not offering you anything. I'm threatening you. And then she goes from being a little girl to a demon grandma. And this demon grandma tells him, give us the hell to Lucifer or the entire host of chaos will be at your throat until the end of time. But Dream isn't really intimidated by that at all. The next up is the storm god, Susano. He tells him that when he was younger, he was angry and he hurt people. He hurt people that were close to him, i.e. his family. So in turn, his dad banished him to the underworld. But what he realized down there was that, yes, while it's a place of death, it's also a place of roots that can grow. And what he thought was his death ended up being his rebirth. So he wants to do the same to Lucifer's hell. And so far, this is the most noble pitch that Dream has heard yet. But next up is Odin, and he gets right back to the bribing. And his bribe is, I think I know where your missing brother is, which is very enticing to Dream. He does ask Odin, why do you want hell? And Odin tells him to stave off Ragnarok, the end of all things for my people. The Aesir live in Asgard, the giants live in Jotunheim. The Dark Elves lives in... It's a word I can't say, all right, because I'm not Norse. But he tells Dream that essentially there's a bunch of people fighting over territory because there's nowhere else to go. They're overrun, and hell would be a place where he could expand. At this point, he has heard from everybody that he wants to hear from. So right after the show wraps up, he gets on stage and he tells everybody, I'll announce my decision tomorrow. But there's one person he hasn't actually heard from, and that's because he didn't want to hear from him. It's Lord Azazel. And Lord Azazel had an idea that this would probably be the case, so he needed an upper hand. And initially, when he does end up meeting with Dream, his offering to Dream is Lord Corazon, the guy who challenged him in hell. This is an offering for Dream to take vengeance upon him, but Dream says, well, what if I don't want him? Because Dream doesn't want him. What the hell is Dream going to do with him? So that's when Azazel, who at this point has turned into a demon, says, I've got one other thing. It's not much, but there was somebody who was sent to hell like 10,000 years ago. You might have interest in her. And it's Nada. Lord Azazel tells him, if you give me the key, I will release her. But if you don't, I'm going to take a lot of pleasure in consuming her soul. He asks Morpheus if he understands him, and Morpheus says, yeah, I do. And Azazel tells him, well, I guess then we have a deal. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry. It'll be up in a day or two.